I have always wanted to get really close to Mount Baker and paint it, and I finally got to. My family and I took our first ever solo camping trip up to Baker Lake, and I got to do 4 color studies. Ooh, still wet. Up at Baker Lake, obviously, got a nice peek at Mount Baker. This is a story of how that first family camping trip went and how I painted these. So it was a rainy, gloomy Washington September day, but there were lots of smiles. People were ready to rock and roll and get up to the mountain. We were a little worried about this rain because obviously I wanted to paint, and we're camping with a 2-year-old and a 10-month-old, but the weather prediction was that it was going to be a nice sunny day. Clearly, that was not the case at the beginning here. We had a lot of cloud coverage, but I gotta be honest, I love these Pacific Northwest days when there is just cloud coverage all the way across the sky. It makes the greens of these fields so beautiful. I mean, look at that. You don't get that green with sunshine. You get that with a big sheet of clouds. So I was happy. Obviously, we stopped for a healthy snack on the way, a nice lunch at Arby's, which actually was horrible. That sandwich was cold, and those fries were cold. And they didn't have cheese at 11:30 in the morning. What Arby's doesn't have cheese at 11:30 in the morning? Anyways, we continued our trip. Slowly we watched the clouds start to rise up off of these hills, and there was blue sky unveiling Mount Baker. We got a peep of Mount Baker right before we pulled into Baker Lake. Horseshoe Cove was the camping ground that we stayed at, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I have been here in Washington my entire life, and I have never seen water this turquoise. So we unpacked the kids, unpacked all of the stuff, started putting the tent up, followed this caterpillar around for a little bit, and then it was nap time, which meant I got to do some painting. So I went out to this spot. I didn't have a lot of time, so I just picked the first spot I found, and honestly, you could paint anywhere around Baker Lake. It is so beautiful. There's just beauty all around you when you're at Baker Lake. So I set up here at this one specific spot. It was strangely hazy, and looking back at it, it's pretty clear that there were some forest fires going on somewhere because we had this insane haze over some of the foothills here. So I put down my paints on my palette and got ready to paint. Set up my camera to film and totally forgot to hit record. But here is the finished result. Not bad. And look who couldn't fall asleep in a tent. So we put the painting stuff away and headed down to the water. This place is absolutely gorgeous, and these videos don't do it justice. You've just got to go there. The kids were so happy, having tons of fun. Didn't sleep at all, but that's okay. Look at that moss. That's just fun. So we woke up, made some coffee, made some sausage and eggs, and started the day. And again, it was very cloudy. I was a little bummed about this. I was really looking forward to getting out today and seeing Mount Baker and actually painting it. But again, I am a sucker for distilled light, and a big sheet of white is always a good place to paint. And now let's just watch every single brushstroke. I don't want to do a time lapse. I want you guys just to enjoy every second of this painting. Oh my goodness, this is so boring. I can't do this to you guys. Let's speed this up. Yeah, so I got the shadow in there first because it was the most interesting thing to me. I don't know if that was the wisest decision, but there was this island of trees that I'll show you later in the video that was just sitting in Baker Lake, and then we had this awesome hill behind it that was slowly covered in a really soft cloud. It was a really cool piece to paint, and I was very excited to find it and just to paint it. You know, I didn't get to paint what I necessarily wanted to in the morning, but this place is so beautiful, it didn't matter. It was so nice to paint. these clouds softly covering this hill. I actually took a painting course with the Tonko House guys, Dice Tasumi and Robert Kondo. And the way they teach students to paint is first in distilled lighting. So you set up a cube and a ball and a cone, but you set it up in a distilled lighting situation instead of a direct lighting situation. So for those of you who don't know, a distilled light is a sheet of clouds covering the sun. So the light comes down distilled versus a direct light, which is like a spotlight or the sun. Anyways, so this took me back to some of my student painting days, and it was really fun to paint distilled light. And you can't live in Seattle, Washington and dislike distilled light. You just have to love it. You have to embrace it. It is beautiful, and it makes for some really awesome colors. Specifically in this turquoise blue water, it was absolutely gorgeous. That shadow was one of the most beautiful things I was looking at. This is a really fast painting. I painted this in about 25 minutes, and obviously it's very small, and it's very much just a color study. I just wanted to grab the colors. So as I'm wrapping up this painting, you can see in the water that the blue sky is popping out, and that is exactly what happened. Those clouds started to push up, revealing a blue sky. So we went down to the water. It is crystal clear and this amazing turquoise. I know I've said it so many times, but this place is so beautiful. But we did head out to a different campsite where we thought we might get a better view of Mount Baker. We first found this stream here, which was really tempting to paint. It was such a cool color, just this gray, blue. The shadows were beautiful, but how could I turn down this view? So I set up my palette and my paints, and I knew I was going to chop down a couple of those trees in front of the mountain. Obviously not literally, but in my painting, I wanted to get rid of a couple of those big ones. Again, this view with my phone does not show the majesty of Mount Baker. It is beautiful to look at, to be up at Baker Lake. You just wouldn't believe how big this stuff is when you're just watching it on an iPhone. It is absolutely magnificent. Beautiful view. You saw me walk away there for a minute and then come back. Well, that was because I was trying to look around those trees. I would walk over to a section where I could stand up and see the shape of Mount Baker, which if I didn't get to do this painting, I would have no idea the unique silhouette that Mount Baker has. I had no idea it has this second peak to it. So that was really fun. That always happens when I'm painting. You just never know what you're gonna see when you force yourself to look and to paint. So started throwing in the top of the mountain there, and using my palette knife to chisel away to fake detail, and plop in a tree right about there. Really fat brush in this one. Again, it's a color study. I want it to look beautiful, but the beauty is going to be in the colors and not necessarily the composition, not necessarily the drawing. Just a quick color study. I was in direct light, so I had to move my canvas here to make sure I was not painting in direct sunlight, because that just ruins your colors. You can't see your canvas right. And right about here, I decided you guys would probably like to see my paper towel more than my painting. So here's my paper towel in all of its beauty. Look at how blue it is. Look at those fibers. All right, now that that's gone, let's continue painting. And I had this cute old couple come up and look at my painting, and I think the woman meant this as a compliment, but she goes, "What a great hobby to have." Oh well. So there you go. That does it. Oh, hey dog. That about does it for this painting. Really excited for how it came out, and watched a very hyper squirrel run around. And when the kids went down to try to nap again, which, spoiler alert, did not work well, I thought I'd sit down and relax and do a painting. Boy, was I wrong. I can never sit down and relax. Also, forgot to hit the record button again, and so I'm jumping in here media res. And this painting was a little bit of a struggle. Like I said, I was pretty lethargic at the beginning. I thought, oh, I'll just relax and paint, which you don't ever just relax and paint unless, I don't know, maybe people do. But I wasn't thinking through my decisions. I was just kind of throwing paint down, and then on top of that, there's a crying baby in the background, and my shadows moved, so the painting was in direct light, so I had to go move that, and the light on my subject is changing all the time, and I'm not taking it as seriously as I should, and I'm not cleaning my brushes, so the beginning of this painting is kind of rough, but it's not how you start a painting, it's how you end it. And this one ended up just fine, but let's keep watching. This one was a little bit more of a composition study. It was a color study of just a little bit more of the mundane. We already got a painting of that turquoise blue water. We already got a painting of that amazing shadow cast on the water and the really beautiful distilled hills in the background. We already got a painting of the ginormous mountain. This was more the camping experience. It's just two trees sitting here, but they're beautiful and part of the experience, and I wanted to capture the colors that were in this scene specifically. You can see the light starts to creep back onto my canvas again, which was really frustrating. This was just not a great place to paint, and again, I wasn't really thinking through a lot of my decisions here, but the lighting moved, kids kept crying, they were so sweaty. It turns out there was just direct light on the tent, and they were just, got way too hot in this 15-20 minutes that they tried to nap. So again, all of these paintings are about 20 minutes, 20-30 minutes, really fast, capture the light as quick as possible and move on. And I'm really proud of how they turned out, really excited. I think I can take these studies and more than just recreate what's there, I can remember what I saw just because I did these paintings. They're little journal entries that remind me of this trip, and that is so much fun. So all in all, a super successful camping trip. I'm so excited we got to do it as a family, and I am really excited about these. I think they look great, but also they are just little memory catchers. They remind me of my trip. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, I cannot suggest going to Baker Lake enough. It is beautiful. We will be back there for sure. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more videos like this. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.